Death usually arrives without asking. But imagine something stranger. Imagine that one ordinary afternoon, while sitting alone in your room, you suddenly become absolutely certain that you are about to die. Not because you are sick, not because there is danger, not because anyone has told you so. Just a certainty. A certainty so overwhelming that it silences every other thought. What would you do? Would you run? Would you call for help? Would you try to distract yourself? More than 1,000 years ago, a 16-year-old boy faced this exact question. And instead of running from death, he decided to investigate it. What he discovered would transform his life forever. Not because he found a way to escape death, but because he discovered something he had never questioned before. And perhaps neither have we. In 1896, a 16-year-old boy named 𝗥𝗺𝗵𝗵 was living in Madurai. There was little about him that suggested greatness. He was not known as a philosopher. He was not studying the Upanishads intensely. He was not seeking enlightenment. To most people, he appeared to be an ordinary teenager. Yet, beneath the surface, something was beginning to stir. There were moments when his attention seemed drawn inward, moments of unusual stillness. But no one could have guessed how dramatically his life was about to change. One afternoon, while alone in an upstairs room, something unexpected happened. Without warning, a powerful fear arose. Not anxiety, not worry, a certainty. I am going to die. There was no illness, no accident, no visible threat. Yet, the conviction was absolute. For most of us, such fear would immediately send the mind searching for escape. But the young boy did something unusual. He turned toward the fear. Instead of asking, "How do I avoid death?" he asked, "What exactly is death?" He lay down on the floor. He stretched out his body, closed his lips, held his breath, made himself completely still, as though a corpse lay before him. Then he imagined what would happen next. People would find the body, they would carry it away, they would burn it. Soon, nothing would remain but ashes. The body was dead, at least in imagination. But as he watched this unfold inwardly, another question appeared. If this body dies, what happens to me? Am I truly this body, or am I something else? As the inquiry deepened, something remarkable became clear. The body lay motionless. Yet, awareness remained. The body was silent. Yet something knew the silence. The body could be imagined as dead. Yet, the sense of being was still present. A realization emerged, not as a belief, not as a philosophy, as a direct experience. The body may die, but what I truly am cannot die. In that moment, the fear vanished completely. Death had lost its power because the one who was observing the body was not the body itself. After that day, nothing looked the same. The interests that once occupied him began to fade. School lost its importance. Ordinary ambitions no longer held the same attraction. His attention was drawn inward, toward the mystery he had discovered. Family members noticed the change. Friends noticed the change. The boy they knew seemed to be disappearing, and something else was emerging in his place. A few weeks later, he would leave home and journey to Arunachala. The world would one day know him as Ramana Maharshi. But the real turning point had already happened. It happened in a small room, in silence, in an encounter with death. Most of us live as though we know exactly who we are. We point to the body and say, "This is me." We point to our thoughts and say, "This is me." We point to our memories, our roles, our identities, and say, "This is me." But all of these things change. The body changes, thoughts change, memories change, roles change. Yet, something remains present through every change, something that witnesses it all. The young Ramana did not discover this through scripture. He discovered it by asking a simple question. If the body dies, who is it that knows the body has died? Perhaps that is why the fear of death terrified him for only a moment, because in looking directly at death, he discovered something that death could not touch. And perhaps the same question still waits for each of us, not in a temple, not in a book, but in the silent mystery of our own experience. If this reflection resonated with you, you may subscribe to this channel to explore more timeless wisdom here, not as stories of the past, but as mirrors for our own lives. Om Tat Sat.